I said we have a pond in the backyard, so I was telling him about how he's going to have to access it and it'll be a little difficult. And when he got here, he said, "Oh, that's more than a pond." He was shocked at how. In fact, he made a comment that he said that is the nicest pond I have ever seen.
People think of something no more than a glorified kiddie pool, and concrete at that. Nothing that looks truly like it really came from a real life natural pond in a wooded setting, and like seriously like it's always been here. And this just it really is from nature. We're Greg and Lori Carroll, and we've had our pond that Chris built since July 24, so just a few months.
All right, guys, we got water in this thing finally. It is looking phenomenal. I cannot believe how much the space changes when you get water in this system. So let me turn you around and show you what this thing looks like. It is just awesome. So we have our flagstone stepper path that got finished up the other day. We've got those steppers that go across the water that leads you to that patio. So you got those two different options. This really nice big feeding stone that kind of mimics the other one over there that could actually turn into a feeding stone if they really wanted. But we really got a nice big body of water here. Got a big outcropping slash edge stone there that kind of retained that upper section of that waterfall because we really had a tight space. Couldn't do a lot with berm work and extra outcroppings because of that tight area. But that was really, really crucial in assisting us in moving that water around the actual pond when water came down off that hillside. So the patio elevation is going to get raised up. We've got our grade shot out that way. We've got this patio that got finished up. We've got our polymeric sand in here. And what a cool space to sit and enjoy the whole system. They're gonna have seating over there. They've got window views up there. We got this little island stone for their grandkids to get in and enjoy and check out this waterfall. This was just one stone that had this nice, cool little trench cut out of it. Just how that rock form was a perfect waterfall for us. We knew we had to use that as that stone. And then what the guys were able to do up here with this one was just phenomenal. Love how that water dances around. We get that little rill that's rolling right across that edge there. We've got our framing rocks. Everything just came together just beautifully. I love the look of those steppers going across the pond. It is just amazing. What do you guys think? Cannot wait to see this thing planted, mulched up, and finished completely. It is gonna be a huge transformation to this space.
We knew we wanted to be able to interact with the pond, and so we wanted some way to walk over it. He turned that into the multiple stepping stones in the middle of the pond, and then we knew we wanted the little grandkids. We've got 6 little ones, two big ones, and we wanted to be able to play in the water with them, and it's been fun. He did good. Chris did good with that.
We have multiple varieties of dragonflies that have come, and I've actually seen the life cycle process, because we saw these bugs swimming in the water, found out they were dragonfly nymphs, and then I've seen where the dragonfly is coming out of it on the side of a rock. So that's really neat to see that life cycle. And then also we have a frog, and we've named him Kermit. Typically it's just once a day to cleaning out the skimmer with the leaves, and then the once a week treatments that we put in for the algae and the sediment, and then cleaning up leaves around the pond is not even every day. It's once a week maybe, depending on the rain or wind, but yeah, much easier than expected.
All right, guys, we are back out in St. Charles, Missouri. We just got the patio finally wrapped up, and I wanted to show you and walk you through this project. Come on and take a look at what this thing turned out to be. The fence is done, so now we have this nice, beautiful entrance, and look at this space. I am so stoked about how this patio came right up to this feeding stone exactly as we intended, but look at how cool this space is. Another seating area to enjoy this pond. They've got all this additional usable functional space now, but the thing that I like about it the best is it provides additional viewpoints for the patio and the pond, because all we had initially was this little guy in the corner, which was awesome, but this is a much more comfortable gathering space for larger gatherings and get-togethers with the family. So here we have those stepping stones that we talked about. These are the flagstones that we put as the safer path going over to the flagstone patio, but this is my favorite way to get across. These were those really special stones that we were picking out initially because we needed them to be nice and stable, and this is providing us a great way to get across this pond to this big peninsula stone. This is such a big anchor point for this entire space because it really sets the tone for this patio. It blends well with everything, and it's a great landing spot when you're walking across these steppers, which I'm sure that the grandkids are running across these and just having a blast playing all around this entire space. So if you remember when we first started this project, this entire property, this whole yard was all flat at the same elevation as the patio and the pond. So we had to get some elevation to create this berm, but we had that fence right up against the property line, and it was just impossible to be able to stretch this berm out and position the waterfall where we wanted it to be, facing that viewing point, that lower patio, the upper windows. So what we had to do was come back here, and we built a retaining wall. You can just barely see the tops of it back there, and we literally sandwiched that right up against this fence, and then we covered it up with all these other stones, and eventually when these plants fill out, it's going to hide the entire buildup. The idea is we wanted to draw this out as much as we possibly could to make this feel natural and not like a big volcano just dropped out of the sky onto the space. So now that we've had some time for this pond to actually establish and get the beneficial bacteria to colonize and really get working and functioning in the system, this water is crystal clear. You can see they've even, looks like, I bet these are probably some grandkids that put a little couple shells down in here. You can see all these leaves that just had fallen into the pond. Just amazing water quality, gin clear. And if you look over here on this one stone, we're actually seeing little bacterial colonies forming and all the sediment particles attaching to them. So you're seeing these little worm-like formations on that stone right there. That's actually beneficial bacteria colonizing on the boulders and gravel inside of there, and any sediment particles are just being attracted to that. So that's a sign of a healthy ecosystem. So this waterfall is just awesome. I love how we took just this one stone that had this saddle in it and used it as the waterfall all by itself. So there's really no framing rocks here at all. This high peak and that high peak are actually one boulder. So it really made our job easy, and it just looks like it's always been there. That's the whole goal when we design these things. We want it to appear as if a natural formation just occurred in the space and it wasn't a man-made or contrived system. But this section here is really where we get all that audible sound, and that's bouncing all that noise everywhere throughout the space, up against this nice vinyl fence, under the deck, up against the house. This entire backyard is just engulfed with waterfall sounds. So if you remember when we left the project initially, this was still all gravel and this patio was not yet built, but they pulled it right up to this feeding stone, which is exactly what I wanted in the design, because now you can literally just walk right out to this, feed the fish that are going to be in this eventually, or if you want, you could sit down and put your feet right in the water. But this provides a great way to access the pond and get you really close to the viewpoints and to be able to interact with those potential fish that are going to be in here at some point. So that wraps this project up. We had a blast working out here. Love the design, how it came out. The patio just really finalized this entire space and makes it such an inviting, welcoming space. We really hope you guys enjoyed this project. We've got tons more to come, and in the future, there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff for you guys to see. So if you like what you see here, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe this video, because there's gonna be tons more content where this came from that is going to blow you guys away.
I think it always is for us when we work with somebody who's doing a project that we really want really good communication. And Chris and Tara are just phenomenal at effective communication and good timing and prompt. So that all worked out smoothly, real well.
Chris and his team were great to work with. They arrived ready to go. They paid attention to the details. They were good about taking care of the property, and they cleaned up every day after they left. So it was you never felt like you had a mess when they went home for the evening.
The whole team seemed to care and to listen and to just respectful. We felt heard anytime we had an idea or a question. The respect that they had for the neighbors and the property and everything. In 40 years, we've never had workers who took such good care. So it was just, we did not anticipate that was going to be so wonderful.